Game Informer has been a source of gaming news for a very long time. I've been a magazine subscriber for like ever. Within the past few years, they have been drastically stepping up their game as far as exclusive, in-depth looks, and my magazine arrived yesterday with tons of facts that hasn't been mentioned yet. So let's dive into some more Destiny 2 Forsaken news. Guardians, what is going on, guys? Sly here, back at it once again with another D2 news update video for you all, and the excitement just keeps coming, guys. I mean, the month-long coverage of Forsaken has given us a pretty deep look into what we can expect this upcoming September, and when I checked my mail yesterday and read the actual article from Game Informer, I noticed tons of things that I haven't heard about before. So in this video, that is exactly what we're going to be checking out, some of the new details about Forsaken. I guess you can call this a news update video, Game Informer breakdown, whatever you wish to call it. The article is 14 pages long, and they have stuff written on the front and back of each page. It is quite the article, and even though their speech-to-text software misspelled quite a few words, it is pretty easy and an awesome read. So I definitely recommend checking it out online or head to your local GameStop, and they usually have copies laying around that you can read for free. It is definitely worth it. So starting off, this article is pretty spoiler heavy, as in it goes through tons and tons of stuff about the campaign, the Dreaming City, the end, and all that kind of stuff. So while I will leave out most of the spoilery bits, this won't be an entirely spoiler-free video. So if you don't want to know what awaits you later on in the game, then this is your chance to back out. Alright, so starting off, the article talks about how you start the campaign with a prison break. You and Petra Venj, along with Cade 6, descend down into the depth of the Prison of Elders, and then all of a sudden you get split up. Cade makes it all the way down to the heart of the Prison of Elders at the very last level, and then meets up with an imprisoned Prince Uldren. Prince Uldren was imprisoned inside the Prison of Elders and set all of this up as a trap. We know what happens to Cade, and this sets the tone of the story. It's all about revenge. The Reef is technically outside of Vanguard jurisdiction, so you're really not even supposed to be here. According to the article, the entire race of Scorn, set in within the Prison of Elders, is something completely unique. Rise of Iron, Taken King, Warmind, they all had pretty much reskinned kind of, enemies within them. But apparently the Scorn are something completely different and brand new. From what I have read, there are 5 new types of Scorn enemies along with one boss. We have hulking mongrels, spider-like Scorn called Screeb, which is probably now my favorite name ever. Then there are raiders, lurkers, and finally ravengers. The first type, the hulking mongrels, throw out lightning attacks that litter the battlefield. Screeb, which are awesome, are quick like spiders, but they are the new explodey villains of Destiny. They are bloated with a substance called dark ether, and their blast radius is supposedly twice that of a cursed thrall. We then have raiders, which send out spinning explosive saw blades of void energy, and they can disappear into ethereal light streams to teleport across the battlefield. Then lurkers, they carry gladiator shields, that's enough said, and finally we come to ravengers. Hunchback, crazy peeps who charge at you the instant they see you. They spin lantern-like sensors that they then slam into the ground right in front of you to create a pillar of solar energy. But then we have the big guys, the ones that hold all of the smaller guys together. They are called Chieftains. The Chieftains who are leaders of the Scorn. Now they sound pretty awesome as well. Each Chieftain will be one of 3 different types, and they're separated by elemental energies. One has a solar totem that spins turrets of flames that act as kind of like a lockdown mechanic, forcing you to be funneled around it. The other has a void totem which creates invulnerability shields to all enemies within range, and finally the arc totem, which is supposed to be the baddest of them all. Now it's hard to tell what the writer was trying to say here, but he says that the arc totem is thrown at you, and when you try to run away from arc damage inside of it, it simply rubber bands you back to the center where the totem is. So unless you destroy it, you are trapped inside while constantly taking arc damage. Now these totems aren't huge towering columns, think of them just as like big spears, so they can be thrown at you whenever you're running away. So as you can see, if you get the right combination of Scorn together and the right Chieftain, like keeping you tethered there with like 2 arc totems while tons of Screeb run at you, it can get pretty hairy. So it looks like this is going to be a whole new ball game with these new different enemy variations, something Destiny has been missing for quite a while now. Now, as a side note, the writer says the Scorn have by far the most overtly aggressive AI programming of all the baddies within Destiny, so that is something pretty awesome as well. The next part, it goes into detail about the Tangled Shore, and for those who've been viewers of my channel for quite a while now, do you remember back when I said we would end up befriending the Falling and teaming up with them at some point? Well, that time has come, my friends. If you watched my last video, we talked about the Spider, the new vendor and NPC for the Forgotten Shore. Well, the Spider is a fallen captain, and this is him right here. We end up teaming up with the Fallen, and according to the article, Spider actually gives us Dregs and Vandals to use as teammates throughout some of the missions. So we end up fighting alongside the Fallen. How cool is that, right? And just saying, I called that one. Alright, so yesterday we also talked about this Spider guy. He's going to be the dude that gives us these new outlaws to hunt down, but only after the campaign is completed. And the meat of the campaign apparently sits within Baron hunts. The article goes on to say that after the Baron hunts are completed, it then goes back into a traditional linear type of story. So it's kind of cool to have these cinematic cutscenes and kind of like a Red War type of campaign after we do those open world missions. Now there are 8 Barons in total. After we kill the first 6, only then does the linear story type of campaign begin, where we start to hunt down the final 2. Now once you finish the campaign, only then will the Dreaming City become available, and according to Steve Cotton, director of Forsaken, the Dreaming City is about the same size as Nessus, which is freaking huge, guys. The EDZ and Nessus are 2 of the biggest destinations within Destiny, and having an endgame area the size of Nessus? Yes, please. You know, Steve also said that right after the Dreaming City opens up, you probably won't be able to explore all of it, as most of the enemies will have question marks above them. Speaking of question marks, we now know the level and power cap for Forsaken. The level cap is moving all the way up to level 50 and power level of 600. That is quite the boost. And with all the new level changes that come with Warmind, it's probably going to take quite some time to get all the way up there. Something I also think is a pretty awesome change. Now, according to the article, most of the Dreaming City will be out of your reach for weeks, if not a month after launch. And from what I read, the Dreaming City is absolutely right up my alley. I mean, this is everything I want in a game. Seems to be what the Dreaming City has to offer. The writer kept talking about how the Dreaming City is Destiny's most picturesque destination to date. It's like an elven island with skyboxes that will blow you away. There are secrets upon secrets, and some of them won't even be available until the world starts to change weeks after launch. Now, I knew about the whole world changing and new secrets popping up bit, and I should have seen this coming, but spoiler alert, the Taken have infested the Dreaming City. And as the weeks go on, the infestation becomes more and more severe, which then opens up new areas. What's so cool about this is that one week you could be walking by a picturesque waterfall, and the next week you will see a Taken splotch on the wall like you see all over the place where Taken are. But this time you can actually jump into them and reach entirely new areas within the Ascendant realm. And herein lies the secret as to how the world is going to change. Each week, new areas will start to open up and new small portals, which by the way will be hidden. Each portal will take you to a new area of the Ascendant realm, which is pretty much the Ascendant version of the Dreaming City, with a new puzzle or activity to solve within them. Now, I hate to sound like a fanboy, guys, but this is so freaking cool. This is exactly what I want from Destiny. Challenging endgame locations, beautiful skyboxes, loot to chase, and hidden secrets to solve, as well as one gigantic freaking raid. I mean, this is it. If they do this right, it's going to be epic. Now, I'm not going to go into details about some of the other parts, but on top of the changing world, we will also have a new game mode coming to Forsaken, and no, it's not Gambit. It's called the Blind Well, and it's a huge area that hosts a new wave-based Horde mode. Think back to Archon's Forge and Rise of Iron. This cathedral type of arena can only be accessed within the Dreaming City, so pretty much after the campaign, and it's made for 3 to 6 players. So this is yet another endgame activity on top of Gambit, bounties, outlaw hunts, the new lost sectors, and the raid. I also have a sneaking suspicion that Escalation Protocol is going to be updated as well. Now that's just speculation on my part, but I have that feeling. The Dreaming City will also have its own NPC, and that of course will be Petra, Venj, our awoken friend. She's going to help you on your journey to get there. The Dreaming City has all new patrols and large public events of differing types. So once again, I needs it. Now that's most of the big announcements, but the article goes on to talk about how in-game titles will be available. So on top of your head, it'll say your gamer tag and then a certain title above your head for whatever specific challenge that you completed. It also talks about the newly updated world map, the twice weekly reset, vault space moving up to 500 spaces, and of course the new collections tab along with triumphs. The only thing left mentioning is the new weapon system. It seems a bit chaotic at first, so let's talk about that. I mean, sniper rifles in your kinetic slot, shotguns in your energy. But this article, it explains it quite well. So, ammo is no longer directly tied to weapon slots. Instead, ammo type dictates the power of the weapon and the rarity of finding that ammo. So the following weapons will use primary white ammo and can be used in your current primary or energy slots. Those are auto rifles, bows, hand cannons, pulse rifles, scout rifles, sidearms, and submachine guns. These next weapons are found in the kinetic or energy slot, but use green special ammo. Those are breech-loaded grenade launchers, fusion rifles, shotguns, sniper rifles, and trace rifles. And then finally, purple ammo. That still goes into the heavy slot. That really isn't changing that much. But sometimes, certain weapons like exotics break the rules. For instance, Legend of Acreus. So that goes into your heavy slot. It still takes purple ammo. So purple ammo and heavy slot. We have drum grenade launchers, linear fusions, rocket launchers, and heavy swords. Those will all use purple ammo and can only be loaded within the heavy slot. So you can see that it makes your choice of weapon a pretty big deal. Some weapons will have switched over to kinetic. For example, Hawthorne shotgun. It is now kinetic and can only be used in your kinetic slot. So things are changing. And even though you can use like 3 shotguns, they can't all be 3 Hawthorns. They still have to fit within the kinetic, energy, or heavy slot. And that really is about it, Guardians. It goes on to talk about how we're getting 4 new strikes, and strikes are coming back to the world map where we can just go in and select a specific strike and no longer have to just randomly find it within a playlist. So if you want to go play the Pyramidion, just head over to IO like you did before in Destiny 1, click the icon, and you will fly right into it. Other than that, heroic daily missions are coming back, but we already knew that. Forsaken is turning Destiny 2 upside down, and that is exactly what is needed. They're focusing more on players who want Destiny to be something they can play every night and have something to be working towards every time they get on. The Dreaming City seems to be exactly what I've been wanting Destiny to be, and right up my alley. With all of these changes, I really do think we're going to be heading into something pretty damn special. But that is it for me, Guardians. I really do think we're in for some awesome times ahead. Hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for watching. Subscribe for more Destiny 2 Forsaken videos, as well as tons more about Anthem. Spank the thumbs up only if you enjoyed yourself, and comment down below if you're excited or if you just want to say what's up. Feel free to check me out on Twitter or Facebook at SlyNation on Twitter, SlyNation Gaming on the FB. Later, peeps, and keep those eyes open for more vids coming out here soon. But until then, this is your dude Sly, and I'll catch you all next time.